This is Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to the local music scene. Now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Backstage Bay Area. I'm Steve Roby. My guest today is musician Carolyn Kendrick, who has a new album called Each Machine. The new record features a collection of traditional and original political folk songs inspired by her time researching the Satanic Panic for her podcast, You're Wrong About. Carolyn joins me to discuss her new album, and we'll explore a few tracks in detail. Let's start with one now. This is Perfect World, a track from the album Each Machine. It's Carolyn Kendrick on Backstage Bay Area.
I dreamt I saw a perfect world I did see, but it could not be perfect, as it included me, as it included me. I dreamt I saw the angels I did see, but they could not be angels, because they talked to me, because they talked to me. I saw the devil I did see, and I know it was the devil. The devil is in me, the devil lives in me, the devil is in me, the devil is in me. The devil is me. The devil is me.
That's Carolyn Kendrick with Perfect World from her new studio album, Each Machine. It will be available on December 6th. Carolyn Kendrick is my guest today. I'm Steve. This is Backstage Bay Area. Hey, Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really thrilled to be here.
It's nice to have you here. Hey, Carolyn, before we dive into the new record, could you start by sharing your artistic journey with those in our audience who are discovering your music for the first time?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm from Northern California, but I live in LA right now. I'm from Stockton. I grew up just being interested in music generally. Like, I wanted to do anything I could get my hands on. So I played violin, I sang in choir, I did musicals, I was in drumline, I was in jazz band. I did anything that I could. And eventually, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to Berklee College of Music. So I moved to Boston. And when I was there, I fell into the more traditional bluegrass, old-time, classic country kind of music scene. And I also started songwriting while I was there, because there's a great songwriting program. And so it was there that I really found my love of roots music and got deep into the scene. And then ever since then, I've just been kind of incorporating my love for that, and then also my love for improvisation and my love for songs into my music. And I feel very lucky to be back in California now. It's really nice to be close to home and nice to be able to come back to the Bay Area as often as I can. So yeah, now we're here.
That's great. Can you tell us about your early musical influences and how they shaped your sound?
Absolutely. So my parents are musicians. They teach at University of the Pacific and at Delta College. And they were really instrumental in my early musical life. And I learned a lot of the music that I love from them. And my dad's a jazz drummer, so I listened to a lot of jazz growing up, and I listened to classic things. Like listened to a lot of the Beatles, and I listened to a lot of Grateful Dead and things like that.
Yeah.
And so lots of like combining of improvisation and songs. Like I find that tends to be where my influences really land.
Sure.
And yeah, when I think of like my early memories, I think of listening to like Billie Holiday and Willie Nelson and folks like that.
Yeah. All the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What does your songwriting process typically look like, and how does it differ when creating traditional versus original material?
My main primary instrument is the fiddle. And so for a long time, I've been very melody focused, and like that tends to be where I start. But over the last handful of years, I've gotten really into poetry. And so I've kind of been experimenting over the last handful of years with starting with like concept and lyric first, which has been really fun. A lot of the music on my new record, Each Machine, is from a concept and a lyrical perspective first. A lot of them are traditional songs that I learned singing along with friends at campfires and things like that. And then I changed the lyrics around and made them my own. So now I try to kind of have like mix it up where like some songs I'll start with melody, some songs I'll start with lyrics, some songs I'll start with like groove or chords. But yeah.
To our listeners, we are recording this interview about a week before the album's release. What do you hope for with Each Machine, and what would you like the listener to take away?
I'm hoping with Each Machine that it gives a designated place for people to just kind of meditate a little bit. At least that's what the project was for me and has been. I think this project is a little bit different from my normal songwriting world. Like a lot of my other songwriting projects have been more like Americana folk forward. And this one really is like a little bit more of a concept album. And it really, for me, was an opportunity to like think through and feel my way through like the political climate that we're within, think through like where my own position is on how to navigate like the historical context that we're living through. And so I hope that it's a place for people to be able to listen and meditate on all that, but not in like a scary way, like in a way where it's like an emotionally supportive environment in order to like feel all of that. Because I think our lives are so busy that we don't really get time to sit with it all the time.
Perfect timing with the album too.
Yeah, I think so.
The new album weaves political folk songs with historic audio clips and poetry. What inspired you to take on such a thought-provoking and ambitious project?
So during my whole life, I've always known that I was a musician. Like that's my primary lens and the way that I moved through the world. And that's been what I've wanted to pursue artistically and professionally. But during the pandemic, like when I couldn't tour and things were kind of slowed down and everything was a little uncertain, I decided that I wanted to kind of branch out a little bit and take on some other different creative projects, not only just to have different gigs, but also because it kind of felt like maybe it was a good opportunity to kind of expand my worldview a little bit. And so while I was doing some of this other work, I got hired to be like a researcher and a writer on a couple different like docuseries and podcasts that were focused on the historical phenomenon called the Satanic Panic, which happened in the 1980s. And that also includes, to learn about that, you also kind of have to learn about how moral panics happen, generally speaking, and how they happen across history and happen across time. And none of us are exempt from finding ourselves in the midst of panic. And so I think it was really learning about all of that and how it relates to what we're going through currently in this uptick in wave of conservatism that we're living through right now. I think that's really what inspired it. And I was like, I just need a creative project to be able to put all of my emotions about everything that I'm learning right now.
Yeah, what a great idea. Oh my gosh. Well, let's play another track from the album. This one's called The Devil's 9 Questions. It's a modern reimagining of a traditional song. What drew you to this piece, and how did you approach reinventing it?
I initially learned this song from one of my heroes, Bruce Molsky, who was one of my teachers and mentors. And he has a really gorgeous, beautiful version. And also like the nature of like being a folk musician is thinking about lineage, thinking about how people across time really often have the same motivations. And we all want to experience, love and family, and we all have similar conflicts. And so I've been thinking a lot about how do I take these old folk songs and kind of put them into today's context. And there's still, even if the context has changed within like generation to generation, I think the feelings are still often the same. And so I wanted to like rework this song, thinking about like the original is from being on like allied with good, allied with God. And I wanted to kind of rework it to think about like, okay, well, what if we reimagined this to be like, well, what if we looked at like the darker parts of our impulses as well? And like, what if we acknowledged we're not always exactly clear on like what we're being motivated by? And what if we looked at it from that? And also, what if we like didn't put shame around like looking at our shadow impulses? So that's what inspired Devil's 9 Questions.
Well, let's take a listen to The Devil's 9 Questions. It's Carolyn Kendrick here on Backstage Bay Area.
You must answer my questions 9. Sing 99 and 90. You're not God, you're one of mine. And you'll be the devil's Bonnie. What is whiter than milk? Sing 99 and 90. What is softer than silk? To be the devil's Bonnie. Snow is whiter than milk. 99 and 90. Down is softer than silk. And I'll be the devil's Bonnie. What is higher than a tree? Sing 99 and 90. What is deeper than the sea? Being the devil's Bonnie. Heaven's higher than a tree. Sing 99 and 90. Hell is deeper than the sea. And I am the devil's Bonnie. What is louder than a horn? Sing 99 and 90. What is sharper than a thorn? A forked tongue to guide me. Thunder's louder than a horn. Sing 99 and 90. Death is sharper than a thorn. And heaven is high above me. What's more innocent than a lamb? Sing 99 and 90. What is meaner than a man? God's eyes upon me. A baby's more innocent than a lamb. Sing 99 and 90.
From Carolyn Kendrick, it's The Devil's Nine Questions. Here on Backstage Bay Area, it's a song from her new album, Each Machine, and Carolyn is my guest. Carolyn, you worked on this album with musician Esau Burke. How did that collaboration shape the overall sound and mood of Each Machine?
So Isa is one of my dearest friends. She's an incredible musician and she's played with everybody. I think she's on the road with Darling Side right now, and she just got done being on the road with Lindsay Liu, and she's played with Aoife O'Donovan. But she and I met like the very first week of college. We met in a basement dorm at Berkeley, and I didn't know anything about the fiddle at that point in time.
Yeah.
I was like kind of like more of a jazz musician, like a jazz violin player at that point. And she and I just clicked, and she really has been like, we've really like maintained kind of like a musical sisterhood over the last decade or so. And so I knew that I wanted to work with her on this project, not only just because I think it would be fun, but also because she and I both enjoy playing so many instruments together. Like we enjoy like kind of experimenting. And so it really is just like on Devil's Nine Questions, for example, it's like, it's just the two of us. Like she's playing electric guitar and I'm playing the chimes, and it's just us playing all of those instruments. And that was really an exciting prospect for us. And Isa and I also started this project together called the Gender Equity Audio Workshop, where we essentially just like reserve studio time and host studio time for women who want to learn more about working in studios and want to learn more about the production and engineering side of being a musician. And so since we had been working on that project, we were like, well, this would be a great opportunity for us to like get to work on our producing skills a little bit. And so that's what we were doing.
That's great. So the album's title, Each Machine, feels both poetic and evocative. What does it symbolize to you, and how does it tie together with the themes and stories within the album?
It is poetic, literally in the sense that I got the idea to name this record Each Machine from a Rilke poem. And I was reading a lot of Rilke when I was making this record, specifically the sonnets to Orpheus, because I had been thinking about like Faustian bargains, and that's a bit of a Faustian bargain story. And so, so Each Machine is a line from one of the sonnets to Orpheus from Rilke. But to me, it signifies that we come across all of these machines that we need to interface with in our daily lives. And it's, at least for me, I realized that I was just kind of passively going through and not really like reckoning with like what it individually meant for me to be constantly having to interface with like, what does it mean when you encounter like the machine of power? What does it mean when you encounter machines of myth? What does it mean when you're like in dealing with like the machines of capitalism and patriarchy and all of that? So, yeah.
Interesting. Deep.
That's funny. I didn't mean for it to get so deep. It's just like, and it just kind of happened.
It works.
Yeah.
Let's play one last track from the record. This one's called Leela. Can you share how this Nepalese folk song connects with the album's broader themes?
Well, there's actually like a deep Bay Area connection with Leela. So Leela was initially written, it's like the melody is inspired by a Nepalese folk song, but it was written, the full song was written by Willie Schwartz, who is a Bay Area person. And then I learned it from Jody Stecker, who is also a Bay Area folk musician. And it's just been one of those songs, the lyrics for forever just grabbed me. And the lyrics, this world is just a game. Those who say don't know and those who know don't say. I just felt so true. Growing up, you think like, well, all of the adults, they really seem to know what they're doing. And then you get to adulthood and you're like, wow, what a farce. Nobody, like everybody's been pretending all this time. What would it be like if I, instead of pretending to pretend, I just like tried to embrace that there's a lot more mystery and like a lot more humility that's needed going into being a person in this world.
How true. Yeah. Well, let's take a listen. It's Carolyn Kendrick with Leela here on Backstage Bay Area.
Leela, Leela, this world on the flowing river. What of those whose eyes are one, they leave this world forever? Leela, Leela, this world is just a game. Winners lose and losers win. The game is still the same. Leela, Leela, this life is just a play. Those who say don't know and those who know don't say. Forget the one who sings his name. Leela, Leela, this life is just a play. Those who say don't know and those who know don't say. How can a man accept life who has not accepted dying? How can one achieve his purpose without ever trying? How can a man have courage who cannot as well be tender? He who wins the game is he who's learning to surrender. Oh, Leela, Leela, this world is just a game. Winners lose and losers win. The game is still the same. Leela, Leela, this life is just a play. Those who say don't know and those who know don't say.
On Backstage Bay Area, it's Carolyn Kendrick with Leah. It's a song from her new album, Each Machine. I'm Steve. Thanks for being here on Backstage Bay Area. Carolyn Kendrick is my guest. Carolyn, you've worn many hats, from winning awards at Freshgrass to producing an acclaimed podcast. Hello, fellow podcaster. The podcast You're Wrong About was named by iHeartRadio's. They gave it the 2022 Podcast of the Year award. It must have been an incredible experience. What's the most surprising thing you've learned from blending music with podcasting?
Machine is really, a lot of the concept around it was inspired by working on What You're Wrong About is a show about like these social issues that are going on. And before I started working on You're Wrong About, I really was thinking of music as like a siloed art. And now I realize there's just so much interconnectedness between what's going on in the world and how we make our art and how we consume our art and how we consume our music. And so I think working on that show and also just working on other podcasts has made me think like, okay, like what if I opened up music so that it was more of like a world building experience?
Mm-hmm. That's great. So the podcast is available on all streaming platforms?
Yes, it is.
So looking ahead to next year, 2025, do you have any exciting musical plans or live shows on the horizon?
Yes, I do. I'm so excited. I'm going to actually be in the Bay Area coming up on December 5th. I'll be playing at the Back Room in Berkeley. And I will also be doing a tour with the Clements Brothers in January. I think we're going to be playing at Freight and Salvage in January. But I also am planning on just doing a lot of live shows throughout 2025. So I'm very excited about that.
Sounds like a busy year.
I hope so.
So what can your fans look forward to from that Berkeley performance? Are there going to be any special surprises planned or set list you can share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be playing duo with my friend Matt Schwartz, who is from Berkeley. So I think that will be fun.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to play a lot of the songs from each machine, but I'm also like in the process of just finishing up my next record. And so I think I'll probably play a couple songs that are like unreleased at that show. So I think that will be fun.
Ooh, I have to ask now, when can we look forward to the new record?
Ooh, I am hoping in 2025. I just finished the mixes and they're getting sent over to mastering. Ooh. So maybe I technically shouldn't be talking about it while I'm still promoting this current record, but I'm just so excited about it.
Let me let our listeners know about the upcoming show. Carolyn Kendrick will perform at the Back Room in Berkeley on Thursday, December 5th, a day before your new album drops. Showtime is 8, and you can pick up tickets right now online at backroommusic.com. And be sure to stop by Carolyn's website for her music and tour schedule. Go to carolynkendrick.com. Carolyn, thank you so much for being on the show today, and much success with your new album, Each Machine.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Carolyn Kendrick, everyone. This has been Backstage Bay Area.
Welcome to Backstage Bay Area, where we bring you intimate conversations with the artists shaping the soundtrack of our lives. From the smooth grooves of jazz to the raw energy of rock, the soul of blues, and the vibrant rhythms of world music, this is your gateway to it all. Hosted by Steve Roby, a seasoned radio personality and best-selling author, Backstage Bay Area features exclusive interviews with Grammy winners like Judy Collins and Colby Kalat, and chart-topping musicians like Adam Hawley. Discover their stories, explore their inspirations, and dive deep into the creative process behind every unforgettable performance. With over 200 episodes and counting, this podcast connects you to the heart of local and touring musicians making waves today. Whether you're a lifelong music lover or discovering new sounds, Backstage Bay Area is where the music never stops. Subscribe now on all major streaming platforms, including YouTube, and join our growing community of listeners. Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to the music scene.
Thank you for tuning into the Backstage Bay Area podcast. Don't forget to visit us online at backstagebayarea.com for more insights and stories. Be sure to join us next time for more engaging conversations with local talent and touring musicians. Until then, keep the music alive, and we'll see you backstage.